What's going on, everybody? What is going on, everybody? Good morning. Monday, March 30th. I got to be honest with you. That clock turned 8 a.m. and I was like, ha, I was ready to go too. Hope everybody had a phenomenal weekend. Hopefully everybody's chilling, enjoying their day. Start of another week here. We're almost done with March, everybody. You know, I don't need to remind everybody here, but damn, is this freaking calendar moving quick. You know, Lakers, by the time we get to tomorrow, by the time tomorrow's done, we'll have already cranked out. What's the number here that we'll have cranked out? I think it's literally going to be 17 games in the month of March. What the hell happened in March? What the hell's going on in the month of March? I appreciate you guys being a part of the show. We got a packed show, full hour, obviously. We'll be talking Lakers basketball, talking a lot of NBA as well. So looking forward to doing that with everybody. Probably going to have, this show will probably definitely be a little bit more comments heavy, if you want to put it that way. Try to grab as many comments as we can as the show goes on. I know the Lakers are kind of in the middle and stuck with these teams, continuing to play some of the worst teams in the NBA, but is what it is. We'll make it happen either way, and always appreciate you guys being here. A couple of quick reminders. If you've yet to subscribe to the channel, please do me a favor. Subscribe to the channel. Greatly appreciate that. Always appreciate the support of the channel as we try to close in on 35,000 subscribers. If you're here on X, be active on X. If you got anything you want to put in the comments, I'll do my best to try to get to some of these comments. And cheers to you on this Monday morning. Hope you're sipping your coffee. I got a little double action here. I got some tea going. I got some coffee going. We got a little combo going. All right, here's what we got here for a rundown for the show today. Here's what we got, what we're working on. Lakers, obviously, it feels like it was a month ago. And I don't know the last time we've had a show where the Lakers didn't play on a Friday or on a Saturday and a Sunday. So they had a complete weekend off. So I think for everybody, it's going to take a second to kind of get back into the rotation of things. So Lakers and Brooklyn, we'll mention that for a quick second. Not much of that at all. How about Luka's suspension? You know, what kind of issue with Luka at all? Any issue with watching Luka Doncic and seeing some of his play and the way his emotions kind of get into the mix? He'll miss tonight's game because he got his 16th technical foul. I want to have that conversation. So much chatter and conversation also, and I'm actually stuck in the middle of this. I'm not 100% sure if I know whether I think this is a bad thing, whether it's a big deal. So much of this chatter around Luka and MVP, and he's obviously having an incredible season. I don't think anybody's questioning that at all. But there's so much attention going towards that conversation. I'm curious to get people's thoughts. Is it a big deal that Luka wins the MVP if he doesn't win the MVP? I feel like it is, but then I also feel like it isn't. And I feel like the other candidates that are in the mix as well, they're also just unbelievable players that are on unbelievable teams. So I'm having a difficult time whether to make anything of this MVP chatter with Luka. So we'll get into that, spend a little time on that. I want to also reflect on the month of March. I mean, talk about, this was kind of a make or break month for the Lakers. And coming into the month of March, they were struggling beating good teams. They were kind of hovering around 500 after they got off to such a fast start during the season. And they were going to do one of two things. They were just going to kind of, everything would just stay the same. They'd beat the bad teams, lose against the good teams, probably be in that 6th seed, somewhere around there when it came playoff time. Or they were, I don't think anybody really thought this was going to be very likely. Or they were just going to somehow absolutely thrive in the month of March. And that's what they've done. So 2 games left in the month of March. They got a chance to go 15-2 in the month of March. A game tonight, a game tomorrow, and then we'll flip the calendar to April. Bronny getting some minutes. It's kind of interesting watching how my view on Bronny has changed a little bit. I don't know if you guys feel the same way or if I'm on my own on that one. So we'll hit on that. I saw an article about the Warriors' interest in LeBron this offseason. Mark Stein had put something out in his Substack. And If you'd have told me that a month ago, I would have been like, okay, so what's the problem? That's fine. If LeBron wants to go play for them, go play for the Golden State Warriors. Now it's like, wait, hold up here. Hold up, everybody. Can we get a second to talk about and discuss LeBron? Can we not be so quick to say LeBron? I ran into someone. I'm going to tell the story a little bit later. I ran into somebody at the gym, and he called me out about the LeBron conversation. So, you know what? This will be a good day to actually have that conversation. I'm like, listen, don't call me out. I'm just here real quick. I shower, shave, and I'm getting out of here. What are we doing here getting called out? We'll talk about that. And then got a couple things around the NBA weekend recap, and we will call it a Monday. Thank you very much for being here. Appreciate you guys being a part of the show as well. I always tell you guys this, and maybe sometimes I just gloss through it. Love doing the show. Love talking NBA. Obviously, love talking hoops, talking Lakers basketball. So always enjoy doing this when I'm doing it in the morning. Also, obviously, when I'm doing it in the post-game show. We'll have a post-game show tonight. All right, let's take a look at a couple of the comments, and then we'll get started from there. All right, let's see what we got here. Let's see. Of course, the Warriors want LeBron. Current LeBron would be a tremendous draw. The Warriors have been unable to reach the level they were when they had Clay. Yeah, the question's going to be, and I think the bigger question is going to be, what kind of dollars is LeBron looking for in the summer? That's number one. Number two, I think the question is going to be, a lot of that's also going to have to do with what does LeBron want, right? And if you're trying to make a decision, let's say hypothetically in the summer between the Lakers and the Golden State Warriors, who's healthy, who's not healthy. The problem with the Warriors, they don't have anything like Luka. So is trying to get as far as you can with, an aging Steph Curry, Jimmy Butler coming off his injury, Draymond Green, an aging Draymond Green, all this stuff, or are you better off with the Lakers? So we'll have that conversation, go from there. MVP doesn't matter to Laker fans. We want parades and banners. Win that MVP award certainly matter to individual players. Yeah, this is going to be a good conversation to have. I don't know if I've made a decision yet of whether it's a big deal for Luka to win the MVP or not, but damn, is it a conversation? And I spent a little bit of time on this last week as well. There's been a little bit of slander that goes towards Luka in order to kind of prop up some of these other players. By the way, you guys need to freaking relax here on this. You guys have better topics than I do. Not sold on Reeves. Somebody talking about LeBron. This one about Luka and MVPs. I'm going to stop reading the comments because I need these comments for as my show progresses. I don't want to just like blow through these comments. These are really good comments. So solid stuff right there. Okay, let's get the show started. And then we'll come back to some of the comments here in a little bit. Quick reminder, Thursday night, I'm going to be doing my post-game show from Harrah. And did, I think, most of my giveaways, but I may have a couple giveaways left. I might do something a little bit different this time. I know I was doing some trivia before. If you have some interest in coming out of Harrah on Thursday and hanging out for that post-game show, I'll when I do the Harrah read, I'm basically going to ask anybody, if you want to come, I have a few more of these hotel stays that I can give away. And all you got to do is just send me an email. And if I got a couple of them, then I'll give them out to first come, first serve. So that's how I'm going to probably play this out the rest of the way, but I'll promote it more when we're doing the Harrah read. All right, let's get the show started. Thank you very much for being here, and please subscribe to the channel. Okay, so Lakers over the Nets on Friday night. It really does feel like that this game was a month and a half ago. And there's not much to talk about with the Lakers and the Nets. Brooklyn made it interesting for about 3 quarters, and then the Lakers pull away in the fourth. Austin Reeves hits, I want to say, 4 threes, has 15 points in the fourth quarter. Lakers win the game. The biggest story is about Luka, but let me just kind of throw a couple of stats here real quick coming off that game on Friday night. It's so funny to have 2 days off in the NBA. It feels like the Lakers haven't played in a month. I feel like we just went through the All-Star break. Lakers are 14-2 in their last 16 games. All right. They're 13-2 in the month of March. We'll get into in just a little bit. 8th straight home win for the Lakers as well. 31-2 when leading at halftime. 35-1 when leading heading into the fourth quarter. So freaking impressive stats, right? Just kind of seeing what the Lakers have been able to do, but specifically just kind of adding to some of what they've done here against the Brooklyn Nets. And they get that win, and they now come back to another season high, 22 games over 500. Really impressive record for the Lakers. I don't need to tell you guys, impressive record. They're gonna get well beyond 50 wins when the dust settles this season. All right. The big news that came out of the Nets game is Luka getting his 16th technical foul. So Luka grabs his 16th technical foul. We've been talking about Luka and the techs here leading up for the last, couple of weeks. He got his 15th tech, and it's like, oh my gosh, that's it. He's one game away. I hope he doesn't screw himself in the team by getting that 16th tech against Houston or Orlando or Miami. One of these games where it's like, hey, they need a win. Or what if it was in one of these tie-breaking games where the Denver game was for a tiebreaker, the second Rockets game was for a tiebreaker? Technically, both were, obviously important, because if you lost either one of those games, then you lose the tiebreaker to the Houston Rockets. They won all of them. And Luka didn't have an issue in any of them. And the 16th technical foul that he picked up was in a game against the Brooklyn Nets that was meaningless. And the game that he's going to miss is against the Washington Wizards, which, again, is meaningless. When I say meaningless, I don't think Washington's trying to win. I don't think Brooklyn's trying to win. I don't think these teams are trying to win. So it's really not going to cost the Lakers anything to have Luka out in this game. In a weird way, if there's a game that you want to miss, it's this one. Because Lakers got a game coming up against the Cavs tomorrow, a second of a back-to-back. They got 4 games this week. They got the Thunder coming up on Thursday. So they got some interesting games coming up here this week. And Luka should be fresh, not having to play Saturday, not having to play Sunday, not having to play Monday. I'm not making, an excuse for Luka to get 16 technical fouls. I'm just saying that if there's a scenario that can play out where it might work to the Lakers' advantage, it doesn't affect the team. Obviously, if they lost tonight, we're having a different conversation. Then this is the one to be out on. It's the game against the Washington Wizards. Okay, with that in mind, I want to play something here, and I want you guys to take a listen to Luka in explaining what happened after the game on Friday. And if I'm going to be critical on Luka, listen, every player is going to have a flaw. Every player is going to have a flaw. All right? If you want to go back to Lakers history and you want to say, hey, what was Shaq's flaw? Shaq's flaw was he's probably going to come into training camp, out of shape, and he's going to work his way back into it. I don't know how bad Shaq wanted it. All right, Kobe, what's his flaw? Kobe, it took X amount of years to maybe figure out that, hey, I got to depend on others. It shouldn't all be about me. I can't carry a team on my own, even though I think I'm good enough in order to do that. If you want to say, okay, what's LeBron's flaw? LeBron, you could say, people will say, well, he's passive aggressive. He too much power, was too much of the general manager. I don't know. I'm just trying to think of everybody's flaws. Luka's flaw is he can't control his emotions during a game. And maybe sometimes it helps him. Maybe sometimes it hurts him. But Luka's suspended for tonight's game. Take a listen to Luka. I'm not crazy about his response, but take a listen of him trying to explain what happened with his 16th technical foul.
He was in my face 3 times. I just wanted to get out of there. It's a double tech, of course. What can I say? I didn't even talk. I just wanted to get out of there. They said my push was exaggerated, which was obviously not. And I don't know what else to tell you, man.
All right, there's Luka's response. That was it. Nothing, nothing crazy. Just Luka trying to explain, okay, here's what happened. The part of like, what else do you want me to tell you? I think that there's a piece of Luka. For me, he went through a stretch where, as brilliant as his play was, it's kind of funny. I feel like I don't know how many games it is, and maybe there's a correlation to this, maybe there isn't. But when he got to 15 technical fouls, I actually started enjoying watching his play almost more than any time this season. Granted, he was balling out, averaging almost 40 a game, doing what he's doing. but there was also this just like he was there to play basketball. And there wasn't these distractions and there wasn't this, you know, um, he's worried about a referee and he's got to complain about this and complain about that. And I just felt like he got to just play basketball. All that other stuff was gone, which I think was advantageous to obviously to the Lakers. And I think advantageous to Luka. That clip to me is a great example of there's still maturity left for Luka. Luka's got to also, you know what I didn't hear from that clip? I didn't hear Luka say, it doesn't matter how I got my 16th technical foul. I'm suspended a game, and that's my responsibility, and I can't do that to my team. Now, I'm sure he's saying that in the background. I'm sure he's saying that in the locker room. I mean, clearly Luka seems like the guy gets along with his own teammates, his players, his coaches. I don't think Luka's a headache by any stretch of the imagination. I think Lakers are very fortunate, obviously, to have Luka. They gave up, some peanuts, and I don't know how. I still don't understand how they got him. And I still get texts where, like, I still don't understand how Luka's a Laker. Nobody's questioning whether Luka's the right guy, if he can lead you to an NBA championship. Is he one of the most valuable players in the league? Is he a killer? Will he be a killer in the playoffs? I think we've seen that in his time in Dallas. And of course, he still's got a lot to prove as a Laker. But the one area of Luka's game, and it's a good example in watching him, he has an issue with controlling his emotions. Sometimes that works to his advantage. Because I seen it. I seen it when a referee, he doesn't get a call from a referee, and I see him go down and hit a couple of threes in a row and look at the referee like, almost like allowing the referee. It's like he's now playing against the referee. It's like the players in front of him have nothing to do with the game. It's him versus the referee, and that's a good thing with his play sometimes. It's a good thing when a player talks trash to him because I think it takes his game to another level. But the one thing I think for Luka that I'll take away of watching him now every single day for the last, let's call it 13 months since he got traded to the Lakers, almost 14 months now, that's an area of his game that's a weakness. And I think there are going to be teams come postseason that are going to do everything they can to get under his skin, maybe say something that's disrespectful, whatever the case is, and see if they can get out of his game. Maybe it works, maybe it doesn't, maybe he gets a technical, maybe he doesn't, maybe he drops 60 on you because you just talk too much. But that's the only thing that I will say with Luka that, something to just kind of be critical of. Is his emotion working to his advantage or is it hurting him? Again, it's not going to hurt the Lakers tonight. They're going to beat Washington. It ain't going to be an issue. And if I'm wrong on that, I'm wrong on that. We'll tune into the postgame show. We'll find out. But I don't think the Wizards have obviously any interest in winning, but I don't think it's going to hurt him. Is there a chance that he can, he comes back, let's say he picks up a technical tomorrow against the Cavs. Well, we're right back at this again. Then he's one technical away from getting suspended again. So just so you guys know how this works, get 16 technical fouls in the NBA, you're suspended again. You get 18 technical fouls, you're suspended again. So he's 2 away from that. You get 20, you're suspended again. So from this point on, every 2 technicals he gets, he's suspended a game. We'll see what obviously happens. I'm not, overly concerned about it, but that is kind of the storyline that came out of Friday's game. It wasn't the Lakers beat the Brooklyn Nets. It was Luka picked up his 16th tee, and obviously that's going to be an area of his game that use it to your advantage, but if it hurts you or if it hurts the team, that's the only frustration I would have in regards to that. Nobody's questioned Luka's not one of the best players in the league and everything else, but that would suck if he got a technical against Cleveland and then got a technical a couple other games, and then he couldn't play that second game against the Oklahoma City Thunder. You just don't want to see him out against any of these key opponents. The good thing right now for Luka, I would say, is the suspension that he does have is against a team that's not going to be a problem for the Lakers, and they've also built themselves a cushion because Luka's been incredible. Okay, that's Luka on the technical front. Now I want to talk Luka here real quick on this MVP discussion that's just not going away. I want to ask, some Laker fans out there, because I'm curious to get everybody's opinion on this. Everywhere I turn, I hear people talking about Luka and the MVP chatter. and either the conversation is bashing him. Most of them I feel like are bashing him, like he shouldn't be in the conversation with some of these other players, which, by the way, is absolute bullshit. If nobody thinks Luka's having that type of a season where he's not a legitimate contender to be MVP. And if you don't think so, I just don't think you're watching enough Lakers basketball and watching enough Luka, or you're hating on Luka. Now, it doesn't mean he should be the front runner and he should win, because whatever you could say about Luka and the Lakers, you could also say with Wemby and the Spurs. You could say about Oklahoma City and Shea. You could say the same thing about Jaylen Brown and the Boston Celtics, Cade Cunningham and the Pistons. I mean, every player that we're talking about that has a chance of winning MVP have been not just incredible this season, but their teams they have a better record than the Lakers on top of it. So I'm not here to, argue any of that. But here's the interesting thing for me, and this is the conversation I'm trying to have. I heard Austin Reeves talking about what incredible season he's having, but he keeps going down in some of the ratings. And I think NBA.com a week ago, he was the second highest odds of winning it. Now it's fourth. So I don't really know what's happened over the course of a week for him to be dropping in that category. Is it a big deal for Luka to win MVP? Like, is that something? And I'm kind of fighting this a little bit internally. Do I want Luka to win an MVP as a Laker, a most valuable player? I do. I mean, if I'm being completely honest with you, that is such a unbelievable representation. It's the highest achievement you can win from an individual basis in the regular season. And the Lakers are not going to be favorites to go to an NBA Finals this year and go win an NBA championship. So I'm just kind of being realistic with what some of the expectations are. It is a big deal. It's not, of course, a Laker fan wants a banner more than they want an MVP, but you've had years where a Laker has won MVP, and then you've had years where the Lakers have won an NBA championship, and then your favorite player is winning a finals MVP, which of course is the elite of the elite, because not only did you win a championship, you're also the most valuable player on that run to a championship. I want to just say, hey, who cares whether he wins it or not, and leave it alone. And I don't think he's going to win an MVP this year. But yeah, I do want Luka to win an MVP. The more I kind of think about it, it doesn't, just because I want him to win an MVP, it doesn't mean, that takes away from the Lakers winning an NBA championship. For Luka, the better he is for the Lakers, the better shot they have at winning an NBA championship. Look at the month of March, and don't tell me that these don't coincide, that these don't kind of that these are not the two match each other. There's a reason why Luka's had an incredible March and the Lakers had an incredible March. Let me just share you these numbers with Luka Doncic in the month of March. Now, this is not a 1 month award. This is obviously a full season, and it's not that Luka's was awful the months before, but this month he was especially great. Here's Luka so far in March: 37 points a game, 8.2 rebounds, 7 assists, 2.3 steals for everybody that says that the guy is trash on the defensive side. 2.3 steals. I wish I was trash on the defensive side and had 2.3 steals a game. 49% from the field and 39% from the three-point line. He had 12 straight games with 30 points or more. And by the way, 12 straight games with 30 points or more is the longest streak of his career. And again, he's had, a bunch of individual awards, and he's done a bunch of great things. And as I kind of sit here today and I have the conversation about Luka, yeah, I would like to see Luka win an MVP. I really would. Now, I don't need to see Luka win an MVP over the Lakers competing for an NBA championship, but I don't think these things are separate. I think the better Luka is, the better shot the Lakers have of winning an NBA championship. And there's a reason why the Lakers are 13-2 in March, is because of Luka. It's because of his 37, 8, and 7, and 2.3 steals, or whatever that number is. Now, individual players are not going to win you 13 games out of 15, but when you're as special as Luka is and you're doing what he's doing, I think that has a lot to do with it. All right, I'm going to look at some of the comments here, and I'll probably go back because I know there's some on the suspension stuff, and then go from there. All right, let's see what we got here. Good morning, Slee. Good morning to you. Good morning to you. Look at Orlando. Look at Orlando. Slee, see you on Thursday. Booked my room last week. Go Lakers. Orlando, do me a favor. Send me an email because I got a lot of people that are sending me emails. I'm going to put everybody on an email chain. I'll tell you guys where we're going to meet up, all that stuff. So do me a favor, brother. Send me an email, and we will see you on Thursday. I've put my email in the chat before. First and last name at Gmail. Very easy. AlanSlewa@gmail.com. Send me an email, and we'll put everybody on a chain here. All right, let's get another one here. Proud of our Lakers. We're not beating the Thunder or Spurs in a 7-game series, most likely. Wow, this is a when I see people say that, I'm like, wow, I think I can have an objective conversation with this individual. But we'll compete with everyone on the West. I might put Denver in that top 3 in the Western Conference. This doesn't happen often, guys. I don't typically get comments where I feel like I can sit here and have a beer with you and say, you know what, let's go back and forth, you and I. No, I typically do, but it's, tough. Sometimes it's a tough pill for people to swallow when it comes to being critical or objective about their squad. All right, let's get a couple more in here. Let me find, let's see what we got here. As far as MVP, plenty of players deserving, but to not have Luka in the top 3 at least is a big tell that you don't like him personally or a Lakers hater. It happens, but it's getting obvious. I hate to do this because I don't like doing this. And to be honest with you, I've been covering the Lakers long enough. It's my 10th year covering the Lakers. And I will share something with you guys. The longer you are in the business, it's different. It's not the same 15 years ago watching the game is not the same that it is today. It just isn't. And in a weird way, there is a business side to it. You kind of know what's the saying? You know how the hot dog is made. There's a little bit of that as well. I still enjoy the game tremendously. I still enjoy watching Lakers basketball. I also enjoy watching good basketball. I've told you guys this before. There was a time where the Lakers were so bad. And I'm like, I don't even tune in for the Lakers anymore for good basketball. I'm watching the other teams for good basketball. There's a beauty to the game. I like the nuances of a game. The one thing I cannot stand is when people can't take their individual hate for, let's say, a team, a franchise, or a player, and they can't separate that. That's from like the media perspective. I don't care. Fans are going to be fans, and you're supposed to have these kind of wave of emotions and everything else. But I can't stand when I've mentioned this to you guys, the Charles Barkley stuff. Charles Barkley, if he's smashing the Lakers because the Lakers aren't playing good basketball, I got no issue with it. But when the Lakers are winning tough games, like they beat Denver, and he's still in the postgame show and doesn't want to give them any credit, and they're starting to beat good teams over 500, and they got the 3rd best record in the Western Conference, and he still doesn't want to give them credit, I'm like, brother, I want to tune into you because you do have great basketball analysis. You are one of, the top 50 players to ever, top 75 to ever play the game or whatever the case is. Can you just be objective? Can you take away your personal hatred for a team or a franchise or whatever, or a fan base or whatever the case is? Be objective. So to go back to this comment, if I'll say what I said a little bit earlier. If you don't think that Luka's having an MVP caliber season, then you don't know jack-ish about basketball, or you're just hating on Luka Doncic, or maybe you're just hating on the Lakers. I don't have to like Shai Gilgeous-Alexander to say, yeah, that's a bad mother effer. Here's a better example. The Boston Celtics. You know how many times I've complimented the Boston Celtics on here? And I'm sure Laker fans are probably like, stop complimenting the Celtics. No, I'm going to tell it how it is. That's my job. I mean, don't you guys want me to be honest? The Celtics, the way they built their franchise, the way they're drafting. Jaylen Brown 100% is an MVP candidate. I don't have to like the Celtics to tell you that what the Celtics are doing is impressive. Just be objective with this, with some of this stuff. And I feel like the MVP chatter has not been objective. I feel like the MVP chatter has all been about hating on LeBron look at me, hating on LeBron, hating on Luka in some shape, way, or form. Okay, let's get a couple more. These are on the technical fouls here. Luka will get a tech again. Dude just can't help himself. You might be right. I mean, I don't know what to tell you. Look, I disagree with this one. This one is refs are extra sensitive, to be honest. Peter, it's not that they're extra sensitive, but I've always given this example. Baseball season started, right? If an umpire is calling strikes for balls that are low or high, you kind of got to adjust. Your hope is the ump just calling the same for both teams or for both squads? And then it's up to you to adjust. You might walk into one game where referees, they're blowing a whistle every possession. You might walk into some games where the ref ain't blowing any whistles. You got to adjust. And I think Luka's kind of a good example of that. It's like, all right, well, some referees are going to be quick to blow their whistle. I think Luka actually gets a ton of rope. There are times that he's had 15 technical fouls, and I'm like, oh, he's about to pick up his 16th, and he doesn't pick up his 16th. I think the refs have gone out of their way to keep Luka in some of these games, but it's up to Luka at the end of the day. And the problem wasn't the 16th tee. The problem was, how many technicals did he get before that he just didn't need to have, but he did have? Luka will be fine for the techs. It resets once you get to the playoffs. He's got space. Emotional response suspension comes after 7 tech. Not worried about the postseason. Worried about just making sure that this man isn't putting himself in another position, which I don't think he will. I mean, he's going to be out a game, but a lot of those games he could have missed, Houston, Denver, Orlando, Miami, Minnesota, he didn't miss, and it's because he did kind of crack down on some of his technicals. All right, let's get a couple more of these in here, and then we'll keep going. You stole my thunder, Slee. I don't care if Luka wins the MVP this year. He's a top 3 player, and he's carried this team all season. Get pieces that fit his game, and this discussion is over. All right, good with that. Luka is the best thing that's happened to the Lakers since Kobe. Just skip LeBron there. Just no LeBron in that mix there. That pressure for Luka to win a championship increases each year, especially if Bron leaves the team. Yeah, that's nothing wrong with that. I think that's going to come with the territory, and especially for him as well. I think there's obviously he's been to the NBA Finals, he's been to the Western Conference Finals, so I think some of the beauty with having Luka on the Lakers, it's not just Luka came to the Lakers and there's expectations for him. No, Luka's also, the only thing left in his career is an MVP, a championship, and a finals MVP. Those would be the 3 things left. And when he accomplishes those, then he's going to get greedy and say, okay, well, I want to do it all over again. But obviously he can't do that right now. At least it feels like there's going to be a ceiling that comes with this team, and we'll have to wait to see what happens. All right, let's keep going here. I like this one. Still can't believe that Luka's in the purple and gold. Still makes no sense at all. Definitely doesn't make any sense here. All right, let's give a little bit of love to one of our partners here. Shout out to Brad Wallace and the Wallace Firm. Shout out to him. Shout out to him for being such a great partner. Obviously a big Laker fan. I don't need to tell you guys that. You guys know that. By the way, if you're a member, we're working on something for members. I'm not actually even working on it. Brad Wallace wants to hook up the members with some swag. So I'm going to kind of let that come as it comes. And when it does, we'll be in touch with the members. But shout out to Brad Wallace and the Wallace team. WallaceWins.com/Sliwa. I cannot tell you guys how often I drive in Southern California. I'm driving all the time. I might as well just live in my car. I'm in Los Angeles. I'm in San Diego. I'm kind of back and forth. And every time I drive, I see all these billboards everywhere, everyone trying to get your attention. And a lot of, obviously, these billboards are injury attorneys. You want someone that's in the best in the business and that is known in the industry as being in the best in the business. It's Brad Wallace and the Wallace Firm. Go to our website, wallacewins.com/Sliwa. wallacewins.com/Sliwa. If you go to that website, the beauty is you get a free consultation if you just kind of want to figure out, hey, what do I do? Serious injury, wrongful death case, yourself, a family member, or friend. Just start with that website. Once you get that website, somebody will reach out to you and they'll be able to help you. He can help. He could help anybody in the state of California. So you don't have to just be in Southern California. Anyone in the state of California. I know there's Laker fans everywhere. I mean, Jesus, I'm watching freaking Lakers versus Miami, Lakers versus Orlando last week. And what is this, a Laker home game? That's the brand. The brand is just, it's a global brand. But anyone in the state of California, he can help. wallacewins.com/Sliwa. wallacewins.com/Sliwa. Shout out to Brad Wallace and the Wallace Firm. Let's keep rolling here. I'll come back to some of these other topics, but I want to mention, I was mentioning the stats from Luka. So Lakers got 2 games left in the month of March. So today's the 30th, Monday, March 30th, 31st, obviously coming up tomorrow. They got back-to-back games. Play the Wizards tonight. Got a fun game coming up against the Cavs tomorrow, which I'm looking forward to. I'll have somebody that covers the Cleveland Cavaliers, does a Cavs podcast, will join the show tomorrow as well. So he'll help us preview that game. Working on a guest on Thursday for the Lakers Thunder game. I definitely looking forward to that game as well. Both of those games, even the Cavs, I'm interested in after they acquired James Harden. Lakers right now in the month of March are 13-2. Can I take you guys back real quick? Let me take you guys back, because coming into the month, should I pop this up here? Let me see if I'm going to pop this up real quick. Coming into the month of March, this was it. Guys, this was the entire month of March. It was like, this is a make or break month for the Los Angeles Lakers. I'm going to share my screen here with you guys so you guys can take a look here just at the schedule. But I don't know how much people remember when we used to have the conversation about the month of March. It's like, oh my gosh, this is going to be brutal. Look how many games they have. This is March 1st right here, okay? It's going to be brutal. Look how many games they have. Look how many teams they're playing that are above 500. Lakers are probably going to end up. I mean, just literally, if you're just talking about 2 more losses in the month, they're 13-2. If they were 11-4, if they were 10-5 in March, I would tell you that this is a really good month for the Lakers. Do you know where 10-5? Do you know what 3 more losses would have meant in the month of March? If they had 3 more losses, it would have meant that the Lakers are in the 6th seed, and we're having a completely different conversation about them. This is a make it or break it month for the Lakers. That's let alone if they just had a 500 month, which is what they were doing really for about 50% of the season. They were kind of hovering around 500. They got off to the hot start for maybe the first quarter of the season, and then they just went through this lull. Okay. Look at the month of March, what they were able to do. And there's still 2 games left. Sacramento and New Orleans. All right, fine. You were supposed to win that one. Then you lose to Denver. Okay, Indiana, you're supposed to beat. New York, Minnesota, Denver, Houston, Miami, Orlando. 7 wins in the month of March are all against playoff teams. I'm not telling you that these squads are going to go win an NBA championship, but just kind of think of where the Lakers were 1 month ago. They were coming off these losses. They had a game, if you guys remember, against the Golden State Warriors where they blew out the Warriors in Golden State. And that was, I think that was an ABC game on a Saturday. It was an ESPN game on a Saturday night. And they were coming off those 3 straight losses, the bad loss against the Phoenix Suns when they didn't have Dylan Brooks and Devin Booker, and it was like Colin Gillespie and Grayson Allen were just killing the Lakers. How they've been able to turn this thing around. Just 2 losses, the loss against Denver, the loss against Detroit. And look at both of those games. I mean, it's not like the Lakers were completely out of the Denver game. They weren't. They just got off to a bad start. And the Pistons game could have gone either way as well. I know Cade Cunningham didn't play. But they have a chance here against Brooklyn and Washington to go 15-2 in this 17-game stretch, 17 games in 31 days. I just want to kind of share because I think it's very, very easy to forget just how impressive this month has been. And it was a make or break month. And the Lakers, who were hovering around, what is this, the 10th, 11th, 12th best team in the NBA, have just kind of solidified themselves as a top 5 team in the league. And it all came in these last 30 days. And, maybe JJ Redick is right that this is who the team was going to be. They just had to be healthy. And they got healthy. And they've obviously been very impressive. So 2 more games left in the month of March. But I like I said, I don't think it's a coincidence. The chemistry that the team has, I don't think it's a coincidence. It feels like these guys like playing with each other. I don't think it's a coincidence. DeAndre Ayton reaching that aha moment where he's like, yeah, I just got to play a role. I don't think it's a coincidence that the Lakers coaching staff sits down with LeBron James and has a conversation with him about his role. I don't think any of that's a coincidence. But the chemistry is there at the right time. And I don't know when this season is going to end. I don't know when this Lakers season is going to end. Maybe it ends in the first round. Maybe it ends in the second round. Maybe they find themselves in the Western Conference Finals. I don't know. But to have some optimism today versus just 30 days ago, I don't know of another team over these last 30 days that was able to change their narrative around the league. Atlanta went through a nice winning streak. Give them credit. Charlotte's been playing some good ball. Give them credit. Denver's starting to play some good ball, but that had more to do with just injuries and getting their guys back. I don't really need to say anything about Boston, OKC, and San Antonio because they've been playing good ball all season, as has Detroit. I don't know of another team that's changed their narrative the way the Lakers have over these last 30 days. And I just kind of, I thought it was important to point that out. Because who the hell saw it coming? I didn't see it coming. I think there's a lot of people that are on here too that just kind of assumed, yeah, the season was over. This thing's a wrap. They're lucky to get out of the first round. Now it's like, that'd be highly disappointing if they're not in the second round and in a competitive series against, let's call it the San Antonio Spurs. Okay. Couple other things I want to get into here, and we're going to take a look at some of the comments as well. And then I want to talk a little bit about Bronny, and I want to talk a little bit about LeBron as well. So we'll kind of have both of these individuals as part of our conversation. Fun fact: OKC, Spurs, and Lakers are all 14-2 in their last 16 games. Joking around about this last week. Was having when the Lakers had won 9 in a row. I'm like, oh my gosh, look at the Lakers just killing them. I'm looking at the standings and I'm looking in front of them and I'm like, wait, San Antonio's won 9. They've won 9 of 10. I'm looking at OKC. I'm like, OKC's won 12 in a row. It is kind of funny, like what the Lakers have been able to accomplish. And I think they're still 10 games behind the Thunder, 7 or 8 games behind the San Antonio Spurs. So whatever they've been able to accomplish, it's had, obviously it's an incredible 30 days of basketball. San Antonio and OKC is like, yeah. Try doing that for 6 months. It's like, all right, good point there. But that is an interesting stat. You're just looking at obviously the hottest teams right now in the NBA, and Lakers are clearly one of them with the elite in the NBA. That's why I think this week when we're at Harrah Resort coming up on Thursday, that's why this week I'm just curious. What's it look like against the Oklahoma City Thunder? I was talking a lot about last week. There's only 2 things left to accomplish in the regular season for the Lakers. There's only 2 things that I care about. Lock up that number 3 seed and see if you could do it before the weekend, that final weekend. We're less than 2 weeks of the regular season. So see if you can do it before the final weekend so you could kind of play with your roster and figure out how much rest you want to give players before the postseason starts. So lock up that 3 seed. And the only other thing that I'm interested in the regular season is, how do you look against the Thunder? How do you look? You look good? You get your ass kicked? How do you look? So that will be coming up on Thursday. All right, shout out to Nick here. Nick sends in a 10 spot here. Thank you very much, Nick. I appreciate that. Let's see what we have here. Slee, you said something absurd about LA being a lottery team without Luka. Okay, let's keep going here. You forgot Lakers was a 5th seed last year on a 5-game on 5 games while AD was hurt. Luka is the most overrated ball hogging star. Okay. Yeah, I'm not backing away from Lakers being a lottery team without Luka. Maybe not lottery, but you're definitely in the playing tournament. Definitely in the playing tournament. I actually don't know what's absurd about that. Luka's the argument that we were trying to make here, and I'm going to give you this because I had this stat here. I forgot to bring it up, so I appreciate you bringing this up as a conversation because I can bring this up. Listen to these stats here, and this is just going to be highlighting some of the top players in the league. Thank you again for the super, by the way. Lakers have a 50% winning percentage when Luka doesn't play this season. 50%. Okay? Spurs have a 66.7%, 66.7% winning percentage without Wemby. OKC has the same percentage, about 67% chance of winning without SGA. Celtics have a 85% chance without Jaylen Brown. Pistons have a 75% chance without Cade Cunningham. And the Nuggets have a 62% winning percentage without Nikola Jokic. So this is just based off of when Nikola doesn't play, when Cade doesn't play, when Brown doesn't play, when SGA doesn't play, and when Wemby doesn't play. By far, the worst percentage of any of these teams when they don't have their star is the Lakers. You got a 50% shot when Luka's not playing. It says a couple things. It says that these other teams are built, they're not as dependent on one player. They're more team-oriented. And Luka's just a freaking stud. I don't know what you want me to tell you. He's just a stud. He's just, I'd love to argue against my own point, but I can't. They're a lottery team without Luka. I don't think that's much of an argument. That's how important and critical and how good Luka is for the Lakers. Who are they going to depend on? LeBron right now is playing off the ball. Austin Reeves, God bless him. I mean, don't get me wrong. I mean, there's times Austin Reeves is great. He's incredible. He's put up some amazing numbers when Luka's not there or when one of the stars is out. Teams can zero in on Austin Reeves. You just can't zero in on Luka. There's just no what's the solution on Luka? You're basically saying, do I want to let him have 40 or do I want to let him have 30 with 10 assists? You're basically picking, like, which one do I want? There aren't too many players you could say that about in the NBA. Still love your comment. I still appreciate you throwing that in, so thank you very much for doing that. All right, let's get some more in here. 10 spot there from Nick. Thank you, Nick. Let's see what we have here. Let's see what we got here. Nico thought he was overrated too. How'd that work out for him? I mean, I'll tell you how it worked out. He will be remembered as making arguably one of the dumbest trades in sports history, and he will never get another job with another team. Maybe he does down the road, but I don't know how long that's going to take for that to wear off. The only team that should really hire Nico Harrison is the Lakers. I mean, there's no other team. They should hire him as a consultant. And they should give him a really good salary because without Nico Harrison, where would the Lakers be? Not without Pelinka, but without Nico Harrison, where would the Lakers be? Okay, let's keep rolling here. Again, I appreciate it. I appreciate the comment there, but I couldn't disagree with you more when it comes to. And by the way, you know who else would have a big problem when the Dallas Mavericks didn't have Luka? They cratered. The team was awful. Without Luka, they would be Mavs and Jazz territory. LeBron missed a month. AD barely played. AR missed like 30 games. Gabe Vincent. Oh, Gabe Vincent. By the way, the moment we had, I had the guy on from, why am I forgetting his name? Who did the Lakers play? Played Orlando? No, it was Pistons. They're about to play the Pistons. And Hunter Patterson, who was writes for The Athletic. And he's like, one of my boys is Gabe Vincent. I'm like, what happened? What do you mean one of your boys is Gabe Vincent? Don't send Gabe this. Don't send him the pod. Don't send him the pod because I was hard hitter on Gabe Vincent. A couple of these here because I just love this. Got somebody tuning in from the UK. I think it's George. George, appreciate you. Or Georgios, maybe. Thank you. Thank you for tuning in. Look at this one. From Dubai. Thank you. Appreciate you guys tuning in. Look at this. A little international love here. That's the Laker brand for you. Laker brands everywhere. But shout out to you. And thank you very much for tuning in. A couple of these people, I really do appreciate that. Okay, let's keep rolling here. UK, Dubai, everything. All right, phenomenal stuff here. Okay, I want to give we got to give a shout out to one of our partners, and then I want to talk Bronny. I want to talk LeBron. We'll get into some NBA news, and we're going to call it a day. So let me make everybody's life easy here. We had some giveaways last week that we gave away for Harris. We're going to do basically a viewing party this upcoming Thursday, 6:30. So we'll be doing a viewing party from Harris. We'll watch the game. I think it will be awesome. Obviously, it's a big time game, so it's going to be fun. I'm going to give just to share with everybody. I did most of the giveaways last week. I got a couple more night stays that I have the ability to give. So here's what I'm going to do. Instead of doing a trivia or anything along those lines, hit me with an email. If you want to come out to Harris this upcoming Thursday, I got a few more room stays that I'd like to give away. Hit me up with an email. And if you're one of the first few that hits me up with an email, we'll see how many of these come in. I'm going to try to hook you up with a room stay for this upcoming Thursday. So, or you can also do this. We got the link here, harrissocal.com/Sliwa. If you go to the website, you can also book for $99. So obviously we got a very aggressive rate there. Harris is hooking us up. This is going to be fun. This is the first time I'm ever doing a post-game show on site somewhere. So we'll do it from Harris. Be a fun game. I'll have a second mic in front of me as well. So as much as I'm just going on here and reading some of the comments, we got some listeners that are going to be out there on site. So you could just come on, hop on a mic, and you could ask, and we could have a Laker conversation together on site there on Thursday. So again, if you want to come out to the show on Thursday, obviously no pressure for anybody. I got a couple more room stays that I want to give away instead of doing some of the, obviously the trivia that I was doing. Hit me up with an email. If I got one available, then I'm going to hook you up. So shout out to everybody that's been booking, which by the way, we got some people that have booked. We got some people that have won. So I'm looking forward to having, obviously to hang out with some of the listeners and do whatever we do. But my email is here if you want to hit me up, or go to harrissocal.com/Sliwa and we'll go from there. So shout out to everybody that's going to be coming out on Thursday. And if you got the ability to come hang out, come hang out. We'll have a good time. All right, let's keep moving here. Keep moving here and keep getting on some of these final topics. So real quick here, I don't want to spend too much time on this, but I'm going to mention it. Bronny got some PT these last couple of games. Could I just say this real quick on Bronny? Look, he didn't play a ton. It's not like Bron. Here's what happened with me. First, there are a couple games where he's subbed in, and I'm like, well, that's odd. But I think I kind of get it, right? Marcus Smart is out. He's missed, I think, 4 games in a row. He's not playing tonight as well. Hopefully Marcus Smart is good, because that's obviously such a key component once you get to the playoffs. They got to have Marcus Smart for the postseason. So let me just be very blunt here with this. They have to have Marcus Smart. Marcus Smart is a much more critical player than I think maybe. No, I think most Laker fans know his value. I don't think I have to argue that. I think most people understand just how valuable he is for the Lakers, but they got to have him. But watching Bronny and seeing Bronny here lately, here's what hit me. LeBron made a pass to Bronny, and Bronny hit a 3. This was in the last game against Brooklyn, and I was like, that's kind of cool. It's kind of cool. Bron's passing it to his son, and he's hitting the 3. All the other times Bronny has come in for the Lakers, it's usually blowouts. He's not getting any significant PT. He ain't coming in the second quarter or something along those lines. But They've needed another ball handler. I think you'll see Bronny tonight as well because Luka's not in the game. So however the Lakers use it. And here's what's not happening with Bronny for me. Again, this is just for me. When Bronny's in, I'm not like, why is this bum in? Take him out. Kind of like, all right, show me more. He's super athletic. He wants to play defense. I got a curiosity about Bronny. Let's just put it that way. I think that he's rolling up his sleeves with the G League. He has not really been a part of the roster all season. The Lakers are desperate for young talent, which is why last week I was ripping into how they need to start developing some of their players here and obviously make sure that I see all these like draft articles. The Lakers can pick up a center this upcoming offseason with one of their picks. I'm like, okay, don't tell me they can pick up a center. Tell me that they have the best scouts in the NBA that know what the hell they're doing and not only can pick up value in the first round, but can also pick up value in the second round, can also pick up value off of two-way players. I mean, unsigned players. I see all these other teams doing it, and I never see the Lakers obviously doing it. So without all that in mind, just to put this out there, not making a big deal about Bronny at all. But in the past, I used to see Bronny check in, and I'd be like, why is this guy in the game? Now there's a little bit, all right, what can he do? We'll probably see Bronny tonight. And like I said, this has less to do with the piece is kind of cool of like LeBron passing it to Bronny and Bronny hitting a jumper. I'm like, all right, well, that's pretty damn unique. But at the same time, I have a little bit of curiosity of, all right, you're going to play some younger teams, some athletic teams, some fast teams. Can Bronny come in there and give you some minutes? He, of course, is nothing like Marcus Smart, of course. I don't have to get in all the reasons why he's not. But just the mere idea that it's like, wait, can the guy just play a little bit of defense? Can he just worry about that stuff? And he's been able to do that a little bit. Okay, last thing I'm going to get into here before we get into some Lakers news or before we get into some NBA news. I read this article this morning. I saw it this morning. I don't know if it came out this morning or not. Published yesterday. Lakers rumors. The Warriors viewed as credible destination for LeBron James. Let me read this here because this is coming from, according to Mark Stein of the Stein Line, the Warriors are likewise routinely described by rival teams as one of the few credible destinations for LeBron James' 24th NBA campaign if James and the Lakers indeed part ways after 8 seasons together. It has some legs. One league source of the LeBron link to the Warriors. If I'd have read this 30 days ago, a month ago, I would have told you, yeah, I don't care. All right, LeBron wants to go to the Golden State. Go to the Golden State Warriors. It is what it is. I told you guys I got called out. I was at the gym, and guy comes up to me, really nice guy. He's actually telling me how, he's a big fan. He used to be a listener when I was on radio in LA and this and that. And he said to me, he kind of called me out on this. He's like, but one thing I don't like that you said that you're done with LeBron. 8 years in, you can't really build around Luka until the next chapter starts, until that chapter ends so a new chapter can start. And I'm like, yeah, I did say that. And at the time that I said that, I have no hesitation of why I said it. Last week we had a conversation and I'm like, can you get him at the right price? Is there a world where you can get LeBron at the right price? Can you go out there and get everything else that you need first and then LeBron's kind of the last domino to fall? Can you go get a 3-and-D player? Can you go get some more kind of players that fit Luka? And then can we have that LeBron conversation? 30 days ago, I'd have told you that, no, he's fine. He wants to go to Golden State, go to Golden State is what it is. Wants to go back to Cleveland, go back to Cleveland, call it, your final season, go get your tour and call it a day. Lakers got to try to compete, and they got to do it with Luka Doncic. Now I look at LeBron, and I read this article about the Golden State Warriors having some interest in him, and it's like, well, everyone hold up for a second here. Can we have a LeBron conversation for a quick sec? Why is everybody so quick for him to leave? I am eating my own words a bit here. Now you can't bring LeBron back at 52 million or 40 million, or I don't think you can bring him back at 30 million. But the man is still putting up 18, 7, and 7 like it's nothing. He's playing a role for the Lakers that is not taking anything away from Luka, not taking anything away from Austin Reeves, not taking anything away from anybody. He's just playing phenomenal basketball like he's done his entire career. One of the highest IQ players, one of the greatest to ever do it. But he also doesn't need the ball in his hands to be as good as he is. 30 days ago, I would have told you this ain't a conversation. This thing is ending after this year. LeBron picked up his $52 million option. The Lakers didn't give him an option, another 1+1. There was a reason why they did all that. I didn't expect this version of LeBron James to kind of come out and say, yeah, I'll put on a different hat. Yeah, I'll get with the coaching staff and we'll figure out exactly what's the best way to use me. I'd have been completely okay with everyone saying off to the Warriors, off to the Cavs, this, that, wherever he goes is what it is. I got some hesitation now. Here's the beauty. Nobody's got to make a decision on LeBron on March 30th. We get the rest of the regular season. What does the playoffs end up looking like? Then we'll get to the offseason, and now we'll kind of get a little bit more clarity of what it could look like. But his role, since he's come back, he was out for a couple of games with a elbow, knee, whatever it was. His role over these last stretch of games, he's been phenomenal. I had a comment last week. Somebody was complaining about LeBron. And I remember saying that no one should be complaining about LeBron. And if there's legitimate interest for the Golden State Warriors to try to go after LeBron James, again, a month ago, I would have told you, hey, it is what it is. Now, all of a sudden, that conversation is changing. And now there's also there's these pause and stops. Are we sure? Well, how much can you get him at? What if you can get him at 20 million? What if you can fill out the rest of your roster and figure out a way to make it work? I did not see that coming. I did not expect that coming. And I was called out for it at the gym. And I don't mind being called out for things because not the first time and won't be the last time. All right, let's get a couple of comments in here, and then we're gonna call it a day. All right, let's see what we have here. By the way, Dubai and UK, I can't get an invite. I can't get a hey Slee. Hey, whenever you're out here, you got a place to stay. You got a warm cooked meal. Nothing. All right, I appreciate you guys being here. Here's one on X. John on Twitter, which, by the way, I keep telling everybody, if you're on X, be active in this. I know YouTube dominates the chat here, but get in on here. LeBron, strong-arm genie into drafting Bronny. So start with that. Bronny is nothing more than a trade throw-in. Once they start building around Luka, I don't care how many minutes JJ is giving him. Oh, we don't need to get into the conversation of how he got to the Lakers. I'm well aware of that. That's probably why I was always a little bitter about Bronny. Not that he did anything wrong, but it's so there's a wasted pick. When he comes in, he's not terrible. He's not awful. Dalton Knecht can't crack the lineup. He was a first rounder. Jaime Jaquez went, after him, and there was some other draft picks that you could have grabbed. Dalton Knecht was the guy can't crack the roster, and everybody knows, everybody has been very, very frustrated with Dalton Knecht. At least Bronny could come in and give you decent minutes. At least he can play some defense. At least he's an athletic guy that can run up and down the floor, cuts, does the best that he can. Again, I'm not trying to make a case here. Bronny needs to go out there and play 35 minutes a night, but I think you guys know what I'm talking about. Let's see what we got here. Can't believe I wasted my 10-piece for sleep and disagree with me. Listen, man, I don't know what you want me to tell you. I gotta be honest with you. Nick, I appreciate you. All right. And if you were coming out on Thursday out to Harris, I'd grab you a beer. I'd get you that 10 back. No, I appreciate you. There was just there's nothing I could do here. I have to, I have to be honest here. I'm very appreciative of your 10. I gotta be honest here. Obviously, that's my job here. First father-son assist in NBA history when Bronny got that. That's pretty cool. Dalton is the 17th first-round pick, doesn't even get mentioned now because he's not good. You know what I mean? He's just not. I just, I don't know what to tell you, but there's a reason why. There's a reason why. Look, that's all I'm asking for. Look at this one. You're invited to the Dominican Republic. That's all I'm asking for. I'm just saying, if we're going to have some international people that are viewing the channel and the show internationally, I'm just saying, lob me an invite. August and September, I'm, the channel kind of quiets down. I got plenty of time to go make some world tours and some world trips. You guys know I like going international. All right, let's keep going here. I didn't actually even see if now y'all want to keep Bron. I'm with you. Yeah, I'm with you. I don't know what I'm talking about. I don't know what's coming out of my mouth anymore, but LeBron has been phenomenal for the last 30 days. It's not a guarantee that I want to keep LeBron, but here's what I'd like to do. What I'd like to do is watch how the rest of the regular season goes. I want to see how the playoffs go. And then I want to see what it would cost to keep LeBron. If you got to give him 35 or 40, I think that's too much of the Lakers' cap space, and I think they got to go out there. Now, LeBron could be an absolute king for the Lakers and say, listen, at this stage, I just want to compete. I want to give you 16, 7, and 7 a night. Pay me a lot less, and let's put the band back together, and let's try to find the pieces so we can actually go compete for an NBA championship. Clearly, they're going to need more pieces in order to do that. All right, quick couple of things around the NBA. Lakers still a 3-game cushion. There were some games these last couple of days. The Nuggets beat the Warriors, doesn't affect the Lakers. As in the standings stayed the same. Rockets beat the Pelicans. Lakers have a 3-game cushion on Denver, who's starting to play some better ball. They've won 8 of their last 10, I think 5 or 6 in a row. So nothing to really affect the Lakers from that perspective. And as we, look at the Lake Show and we start paying attention to, will they be able to lock in that number 3 seed? Will they be in a position where they, obviously get this opportunity to a couple of days left in the regular season and they can potentially lock down that number 3 seed? That'd be awesome. But the teams around them was so critical to get those tiebreakers because they have put themselves in a position where they can afford a loss or two. I mean, obviously 2 losses would affect them, but Denver's still going to lose some games. Obviously, Houston's going to lose some games. Houston, no question about, is going to lose some games. Minnesota's been up and down. They've had some injuries, so we'll see what happens in regards to that. As far as games tonight, so outside of the Lakers playing, Boston at Atlanta, Minnesota's at Dallas. Just keep an eye on that one just because of the Minnesota game. Cavs are at Utah, so they're going to be, when the Lakers play them tomorrow, they'll be on a second of a back-to-back as well, so keep that one in mind. Those are most of the stories around the NBA. The only other thing that I was going to mention here is the game tonight against the Wizards, which I'm not going to mention much of, but I will do a post-game show. I will do it live tonight. I know I recorded the last one. Do you know who's on the Washington Wizards? Anthony Davis and D'Angelo Russell. Did we all just forget about those 2 players? I think we did because I know I did. Both of those players are on there. Weekend recap, by the way, is presented by the Wallace Firm. Go to wallacewins.com/Sliwa, wallacewins.com/Sliwa. That's the website that you go to, obviously, to get a free consultation. Elite 8, or we don't even have to say Elite 8. We'll mention it for a quick second, but obviously some games these last couple of days. UConn beating Duke yesterday, 73-72. Oh, man. Was it Caden Boozer that threw that had the turnover at the end of the game? Oh, that one's going to be remembered for a while. I'm a UConn hater because UConn beat San Diego State 2 years in a row and one of them in the NCAA finals. And I can't stand Hurley. Can't stand their coach. He's a good coach. Phenomenal coach. I just can't stand him. I'm looking on my phone and I'm seeing that UConn is down 3 or so with like 30 seconds to go. I'm like, all right, Duke's going to win. Listen, for me to root for Duke, I got to have like a crazy incentive. My incentive was UConn. The turnover Caden Boozer threw when all he had to do was hold on to the ball, they're going to foul him. To have that play, that's like 1 in a 1,000 moments. To have the ball in your hands and the other team has to foul you, and the clock's down to like 5 or 6 seconds left, to not only throw a turnover, but then get 2 passes in and you get someone from UConn to hit a 3 to win by 1 and leave 0.4, 0.5 left on the clock. Yeah, that's a bad way to go down. Final 4 is set, by the way. Arizona versus Michigan, which are the 2 best teams in the tournament. Arizona versus Michigan. Michigan might be the best team. They blew out another, I think in their Elite 8 game, they won by 33, just crushing teams. San Diego State, by the way, played Michigan early in the year. They lost by 40. I'm like, what? Michigan's been doing that to everybody. All right, so Arizona versus Michigan. That's on Saturday. And then UConn plays the Illini, Illinois. That's coming up on, what is that? On Saturday as well. So both of those games will be on Saturday. Something to keep in mind. Major League Baseball had their first weekend as well. Just a quick note here. Again, not to get into all the details or anything like that, but if I'm just staying in the NL West here, Dodgers already have a 2-game cushion in the NL West. So I think the Padres are already, we're focused on a wild card now. Full sprint towards the wild card now. Yeah, I don't know who the hell is going to beat them. All right, I think that's all I got for today. Let me look at a couple final comments here. Duke was up 15 at the half. And I'm not even talking about that they were up. I'm just saying that I just am literally just that final possession. Do you know how difficult it is? You can't create that possession where a player panics. Right idea. I'm going to throw it. My guy's all the way on the other end. By the way, why don't you throw a little bounce pass, not a lot pass, but for them to get it, turnover, 2 passes, the guy hits a 3. You probably will never see that again. I mean, that's literally the definition of blowing it. This one says, D'Lo's still in the NBA. I'm with you on that. I'm with you on that. I forgot D'Lo was still in the NBA. Remember, there's people here that just, they love D'Lo. And I'm like, what's wrong with you people? Why would you love D'Lo? All right, that's all we got today. Final thing I'm going to mention here, I mentioned a little bit earlier. If you're trying to get out on Thursday, you want to come out to the event, send me an email. I'm going to do what I can to hook you up with a room stay. All right, well, we got a couple of these left, but I'll do my best. I'll do whatever I can in order to do so. Shout out to everybody. Thank you very much for being here. Greatly appreciate you guys being a part of the show. By the way, the Lakers will clinch a playoff spot with a win tonight and a Phoenix Suns loss. Keep that one in mind here as we, obviously get through the rest of the season. Thank you, everybody. Thank you for being a part of the show. Shout out to all you guys. Enjoyed it. I'll see you guys tonight after the Lakers play the Washington Wizards. Be a part of that postgame show. Thank you, everybody.